They all shall be.
Hi there, December 14th, Mimi here. I'm reporting back after my first day home and back at work, and that work day really had it in it. You know, I still wonder why people go shopping if they don't want to understand what shopping is like at the moment. Tell me, why do they go shopping? Just to insert like question mark, show they're better, or they're kind of invincible? I don't know. There were so many moments where people were confrontational about being asked to show vaccination information plus ID. I mean, honestly, it's just the logic of the system, and we're just doing what we're told. Rant over. Wool bouncer rant, I guess. I wanted to kind of hop on here quickly, check in, because I guess that's the only time I will have today. I've got to go in about 20 minutes, and I have already unwrapped my stash rent this morning in the dark. I'm like getting less and less patient. I could have done it now, but I was too impatient. This is today's mini skein that Frauke gave me, and it's another Dandelion yarn, just like day 7, she says. And this is, Anna. Dandelion is a Swedish dyer. I really love this. Very gently, subtly grey hued, and it's so soft. I can't wait to knit with it. I'm going to take it to work and wind it, so you will have some Mimi at work footage winding this. I'm going to either use my break or do it in between, because the last time I did this was during my break, and then I ended up having to actually, support some people with their shopping. So I might just do it whilst I'm supporting people with their shopping anyway, because otherwise my break is kind of wasted. Yesterday I spoke about my I keep saying hibernation. Maybe I should just call it my hibernation. Throw another question mark. My habitation throw project, the mini skein project that I'm knitting the stash rent into, and I was kind of happy because it was the halfway mark, so it was good to kind of mark that with a bit more project-based thing. And I said I would hop on here and also share a little about the recent evacuation. I shared most of my footage in the weekend special, so the Adventism episode, which I will do again this coming weekend. I will just film footage across the weekend and then make one weekend version. I'll try and post Adventism Candle 3 Sunday evening, so we can have it kind of live. I'm gonna try and edit it Sunday so that we can watch it together as like this live premiere thing, because it's always really nice to chat, and I thought maybe some of my friends will get this memo today or tomorrow or whenever you watch this, and you will have a chance to maybe join with knitting and chat and just bring a cup of tea. It'll be around 20 hours, so at 8 in the evening, just before my dinner time, or after, depending what kind of Sunday meal we're having. And we'll kind of just sit and knit and chat and just watch Adventism Candle number 3 together. It's kind of a thing I wanted to do. And I know candle number 4 is going to be in a really busy time, like Christmas. So I thought, why not do it the following weekend? So on the 4th of Advent at 20 hours in the evening, we'll have a little gathering online. Yeah, and in Vlogmas day 13, I think I said I wasn't really up for, I didn't have the energy because I was just recently returned and rushed back from the evacuation. I was going to do a little bit more of an info thing about how it all went and what happened, so I thought I'll just do this in today's Vlogmas. So it was very short notice, which I thought was difficult to organize. I had to change lots of my plans, especially around my creativity, and to be honest, I'm now so energetically drained because it did take energy to do this by myself, as often I do these kind of things by myself. I just my creativity was kind of stumped back. I think it's horrible, but it's how it is. So the zines, yet again, haven't been printed. I can't go printing during the week because most of the time I'm working. I'm gonna try and get it done on Thursday because I think my friend is busy teaching a lesson on Thursday, so our studio day is probably maybe a short one, maybe some weaving, but then I'll try and get the printing done then, which means it'll all go out in after the 4th of Advent rather than now, as I'd planned. Yeah. So it was kind of, at first it was like just whispers. Some neighbors were telling me they think we're gonna be evacuated on the weekend, and then I kind of followed their links and it did sound like, yeah, we're gonna be evacuated. But this was through press, and maybe there was like a Berlin website. There's a website in Berlin which is all to do with kind of local organizational stuff, so it's called www.berlin.de, and you can kind of read up on things like what was happening this weekend there. So followed those links, and I still hadn't been like personally approached, or I hadn't had a letter or anything, which we received I think Friday evening. So like 48 hours before evacuation, there were finally some notices on our doors and a letter in our letterbox by the police department saying they're organizing, together with the fire brigade and the health department of our city, the evacuation due to the World War II bomb that was found in November. Yeah, some neighbors had told me, then another clever neighbor, anonymous, I don't know who, had put up papers with kind of, we think we will be evacuated. And they'd put some QR codes on to kind of link to these articles as well. So it was kind of whisper until Thursday, and then Friday got official. They also put up multilingual, kind of smaller A5 sheets. So there was like Arabic, Russian, I think there was Croatian, and it was like 4 or 5 different language, Turkish, to kind of inform people who wouldn't maybe necessarily understand the very German letter, which was this. I kind of filmed it, and also I want to say this is like trigger warning content because it's very kind of like police language, and you know, they immediately say careful, danger for your life, and it was kind of like, it triggers so many emotions when you think about, yeah, I have to leave my home. If I stayed in my home, you know, I would die, but that would mean if I leave the home will fall. I mean, will it be there when I return? That was the kind of feeling this lingo leaves you with. I kind of understand they had to evacuate, and it all makes sense, but when you have teenagers and children in the house or read, it was, I felt it was triggering. So I was kind of busy also calming them down, and they were busy calming me down. So we're just kind of trying to keep it all together. And yeah, so this is the zone. We live in this kind of part, in this block. The bomb was here on this, like, you know, obviously centered to the circle on this building site, because they torn down houses here, which I first assumed was where it was at. Maybe it was kind of in the back here. I cycled past here because this is actually my garden, so this is the route I have to go to get to the garden. You would see that in my last podcast episode, the garden and how I cycle there. Yeah, and they told us that it will last until midnight, especially because they weren't sure how quickly they can evacuate and whether people were maybe resisting the evacuation, which I'm sure would have happened. So by the time we left, so you would have seen me leave and then some footage of me driving out, but by the time we left, it was like 7:30 in the morning, and they'd said that the U-Bahn runs until 8:30. When we got to the U-Bahn station, first on the way there, I bumped into 2 police officers. I had 3 bags, 3 children with their backpacks on, because we knew we'd had to kind of go to school from evacuation Monday morning. And they approached us and said, "Where do you think you're going?" I mean, I was like, what does it look like to you? Like, we're being evacuated. I'm leaving my house. I was told by the police department of Berlin, which I think is your employer, to leave my house. I'm leaving my house with my children and my stuff, which they also notified us, please take your valuables. What is value? It was like, so... Then we get into the U-Bahn station and we go in, and the security guards of the U-Bahn station, they're like, "No, you can't go to the platform. They're not running anymore." It's like, it's 5 to 8. I was told that the U-Bahn will run until 8:30. I'm sure I should be able to get onto at least the next U-Bahn still. No, it's closed. Okay. So we walk out and they're closing the gates from the inside, and they're like, "This is no exit." I was like, "Thank you." So we walked out another side exit, and so we were really far away from the tram, so we decided to walk a bit further along to the next tram stop with all the luggage, and with my children also being scared at this point because we were almost locked in, or I don't know, it was just like... So we took the tram to the next S-Bahn station, which is Bornholmerstraße. It's a nice little bridge. I filmed a little bit of the view from there. We can see the big TV tower at Alexanderplatz from there, and the sun was rising. So it was kind of nice, and it was a bit of an adventure just get out. I took them all on the wrong S-Bahn, so we went a roundabout way. I had to change again. And we all sat outside the organic supermarket, Dents, which is open on Sundays, bought some snacks. I bought myself a coffee, and I was just like, phew. And the kids stayed with the luggage there, or the boys, my teenagers stayed, and I took my youngest, and we walked and picked up one of those roadside rental cars, and I drove around, picked up the luggage and the boys, and we set off. So all of that was very eventful, also because of my kind of chaotic way, but also because of how we were dealt with by police officers, 2 of them, and 4 security guards, which showed, it just kind of showed that, nobody says please or thank you. Not in this. Not in person, and they won't in the future. So this is how Berlin police works, and you might think I'm a bit overreactive when I say trigger warning police language, but this is me as a white woman. I wonder how much horrible racist and horrible racist treatment some of my neighbors have encountered due to this evacuation, and it is systemic. It's there. It's definitely there. So that's kind of the conversations we had. We spoke to our Arabic neighbors, and they luckily went to their relatives. Another family who went through the official evacuation route, so they had this bus service where you could go to places. I think there were hotels, so people had separate hotel rooms, especially those with kids, because they're unvaccinated. They had like a sports hall, and they had to evacuate the COVID positive cases and the quarantining cases separately. So they had kind of divided up the evacuation centers according to physical health and vaccination status. I know in the news, and I'm gonna try and film one of those news reports of my TV, of my kind of computer, just for you to see kind of how it was dealt with in the press, or some official stuff, is that they had evacuated everyone from the hospital on Saturday, because it was actually found on the grounds of the Jewish hospital, which is local to me. They found this World War II bomb, and so they had to evacuate all the patients there, including COVID-19, like intensive care unit and such. So I think it was a massive task, and I understand that's stressful, But you know, if I have to daily be kind and acceptance of, you know, a bit of backlash in even this kind of small thing of, you know, checking for vaccination status and or recovery status and ID, I wonder why it's so normal that I get treated with such opposite energy. Like I smile, I say I'm sorry, I have to, and you know, all of those things. Why like I feel I'm never or I'm seldomly at the receiving end of this kind of you know, beneficial way of communication, and it's even more worrying when I think how my, you know, neighbors with diverse background or you know, various levels of health and mental health, how they're dealt with in this situation. So obviously our community made sure of each other. So, you know, I went to the woman who is clearly suffering under dementia, and I saw she was looked after, and they'd organized evacuation for Saturday. So I was relieved, you know, spoke to the family, who I know have, like, you know, are rooted in a local church because through friends of ours. So I was like hoping that they had like church friends to go to, but they were just saying, we'll just take the bus, we'll just go with the official evacuation. Spoke to my neighbors here in the house, but I might not have spoken to everyone because it's like, you know, we're trying to share out with each other how it was, and I think everybody was connected. I was glad to know that most people were actually also going with friends, because I wonder how much horrible stuff goes on in those evacuation rooms. Okay, I have to go to work, so I wanted to just report back and thank Jacqueline Wilson, my dear friend, who is all the way in Tokyo, for her kind question about this and wanting to find out more. So I hope I kind of answered the questions. If you have any questions, pop in through the comments. I will, you know, happily talk a bit more about why I chose to go to the countryside and the way we were communicated with, or I don't know, maybe backlash. I filmed a little bit when I got back, and you saw how the police had put these kind of chalk graffitis on all the doors, and everything was obviously officially checked if the flats were empty and stuff. So I guess they did their best, but I'm like still underwhelmed with kind of the human side of it. Yeah, so I hope you have a good day, and I will still feel this in my bones all week, so it might pop up. There's definitely some experience there. Much love from Berlin.